Mic check, 1, 2, 1, 2. That's all I got. You know what I mean? I'm not around. Hi everybody, thank you all so much for joining us. We want to begin the program by first asking Imam Benjamin Shabazz for permission to begin. Thank you so much. Welcome. Give me 1 second, I'm just going to pull up my intro. Somebody who is pretty amazing. I want to call up to the stage Catherine Festa, who will be leading the land acknowledgement. Catherine is pilot raising for the double fin killer whale plan. She has 27 years experience in community work. She's a board member for the Federal Way Historical Society. She serves in the City of Federal Way Human Services and is a international member of Surreptitious. Catherine loves making connections in her community, and she rescues senior basset hounds.
Good people. I am of Elizabeth Collison Jones. I am the daughter of Marina Vesta. I am Catherine Vesta. I am Haida Raven from the Double Fin Killer Whale Clan. As I stand here before you, I'm just so honored to be here and blessed. Let us acknowledge that we are on the unceded ancestral lands of the Duwamish and the Coast Salish people, who give us access to the land and water, Seattle's first people. We honor with gratitude the land itself and the Duwamish tribe by remembering what this country was built on. A nation erected alongside coordinated efforts to make us forget. We acknowledge their historical connection to this land. We make visible that which is this government is intentionally trying to make us forget. Their enduring presence, their story, let us lift up the resilience, spirit of the Duwamish people that are still here, continue to honor and bring to light their ancient heritage. Let that lifting inspire us to continue the fight to call off the injustices that this country was founded on and change the inequities that continue to exist. Helen.
All right, I'm gonna come out here. Can you hear me now? Okay. Hi. Hello. Hi, everybody. This is so beautiful. Like, I'm gonna do the ugly cry, but I'm also trying to look cute. And, oh, stop it, Reagan. Carry on. Thank you so much, Catherine. That was beautiful. We stand on stolen native land, and we are in full solidarity with the movement. So my name is Shukri, by way of introduction. I work for the county as a strategy lead for Best Starts for Kids. I'm a mother of 2 young people who refuse to stop aging. They are all right, they are 8 and 10, and also a doctoral candidate in the College of Ed at Seattle U. I wanted to kind of give you a quick context setting for how this came about. First of all, if you can see what I see, this is so beautiful. Like, my heart is overflowing right now. Yeah, lots of love and joy and beauty all around me. So I'm going to take that in. I'm going to invite you actually to take a deep breath in. Partly for myself because I'm a little nervous. And release. All right. So I am an immigrant from Somalia. Shout out to the Horn. came to this country when I was 10 years old from the refugee camps of Kenya. I don't think my story is unique because many of us have also lived that experience. We were in the camps of Kenya for about 6 years before we had an opportunity to resettle here. And we were airdropped in the middle of nowhere in Texas. We'll talk about that over Somali tea, which is like the best, biased a little bit. And we ended up leaving Texas because it was Texas and it's hot. And I think it was an uncle of mine who told my mother, I'm the eldest immigrant daughter, so I remember this conversation. Someone could write an entire dissertation on the experience of the eldest immigrant daughters. Okay, Johan, I see you. And I remember this conversation where my uncle was saying to my mother, hey, you should move to Washington because it rains a lot. And then a week later we moved to Washington because it rains a lot. Turns out it's also true. And, but I remember around 10 or 11 coming to this country with no historical context. I remember the looks that we used to get from our neighbors and from our educators and from folks in positions of power and service providers. And I remember, even though I didn't speak English, English is an interesting language. It has lax nuance, right? It took me a while to learn it. But I remember the words. I remember hearing from often white folks who are in positions of power, you are not those people. And I remember getting messages like, you are better than. And I remember hearing, you are different. You are an immigrant. Your experience is different. And feeling incredibly confused by that as a young child, seeing myself in those people, and yet being told that I'm not those people. And so I went through a phase of like trying to figure out my identity, like many of us have, I'm sure. Trying to figure out like, who am I? And what is this country about? You know, how did we get here? What's the history of this nation? And I think it was around 15, when I was around 15. I'm not gonna tell you how long ago that was, okay? I don't wanna date myself. And it was around 9/11. And I remember that's when I found out that I'm a young Black woman. Read some books to center yourself, to learn about the historical context of this country, to learn about the enslavement of Black people, to learn about the genocide of immigrants, natives, to learn about the enslavement, but also how Black people resisted, right? We're not just victims. We fought. We fought to survive. We sought to breathe. And I did that, and I went deep into the struggle. And ever since then, I've been learning about myself. I've been learning about my experience as an immigrant. I've been learning about the foundation that Black and Indigenous people have laid for us to be here, right? For us to breathe, for us to take advantage of the elusive American dream, that house with the white picket fence and the 2 children and the .5, a cat or a dog, right? But we don't understand how we have been able to take advantage of these opportunities. It's because Black and Indigenous people have fought and died for us to live. And I could go on and on, but I was reflecting recently on the movement and saw just how different young people are, especially East African young people, and how they're showing up and how they're rallying, and especially in Minnesota, which has the largest Somali population. I don't know why we're there, honestly, it snows. We need to research that. And I remember seeing pictures of beautiful Somali mothers with their hijab and like with George Floyd signs saying Black Lives Matter. And I remember how different that was when we first came here. And I was also seeing other immigrants showing up, and I said, it hit me over a Nutella and tea moment. I had a moment. What if, okay, my family knows this, one of my wild ideas. What if, as immigrants and refugees, we organize something, right? And we talked about the privileges that we have as immigrants and refugees because of Black people, because of Indigenous people.
Yeah.
And what if we talk about this bigger white supremacist system, but we also acknowledge and explore and unpack how anti-blackness shows up in our own communities, right? Because it shows up. We all know that auntie who's like in Somalia, "Ayan kas kafago, ayan kas mudoga kafago, wala ko chitin Somalia." I'm not chitin kafago. That's kalamaha wamalo, right? And we talk about our aunties. You know how we say to white folks, collect your family? We also need to do some collecting of our families, right? Because that's how we get to collective liberation, is that we don't just fight the white supremacists, we also fight the white supremacists within. And so this is a solidarity effort beginning with this rally, but we also have several call to action. We have 24 different organizations, Nimra will talk more about our sponsors, who signed up not just because of this rally, but because of their commitment to explore how anti-blackness shows up in immigrant refugee spaces, how it shows up in the API community, in the Latinx community, in the East African community, and even in white systems, right? And even in Black-led coalitions, because it's socialized. We are taught this, right? So the fireside conversations will be happening after this rally, where different organizations will talk about ways that they can explore anti-blackness. And then we have another call to action, which is elevating the demands of Black-led coalitions. Okay? Thank you, Kristen. Kristen is running for 37th LD. If you're out there, you better vote. And so what does it look like to have policy change and systems change following and being led by Black-led coalitions like the King County Equity Now, right? And so we hope this is an ongoing conversation. This is not just show up, leave, and you're done. This is a consistent, intentional, authentic, daily conversation that we need to have in our communities, and I hope that it begins today. So thank you. I want to pass it to Nimra, my co-organizer. We'll talk about how, her own reflections and how this came about.
Good afternoon, everybody. How are we feeling? A little bit louder. How are we feeling this afternoon? That's what I want to hear. Thank you all so much for having us. My name is Nimco Galale, and I work at One America. Additionally, I am a Black woman that was born in Somalia. I'm also an immigrant. I'm a refugee, and I'm a Muslim woman. And I'm here today because I know that all my intersections brought me here. And I stand on the shoulders of many people before me that have done this amazing work. This is, for me, this is my work. This is my personal life. I definitely am not able to separate the two. And so I'm so grateful to be here in community where I grew up here in South King County. I came here when I was 6 years old, and my family's been here for over 25 years. And in that moment that I've learned is that if we are united, we can never be divided. What happens all the time is that white supremacy puts us in silos, and they make it sound like we need to be fighting for very few resources, when truly that is not the case. And so I'm here, and I'm so humbled and so proud that we are here in solidarity. We are here in community of so many different backgrounds and nationalities, ethnicities. Thank you all so much for being here. I'm going to pass the mic to V, my other co-MC, to tell you a little bit about her story as well, and then we will get to the program.
Hi everyone. So my name is V Nguyen. Shukri asked me to come up and share a couple of reflections about anti-Blackness as an Asian American woman. Some of you know me. My last name is Nguyen. I'm Vietnamese. My parents are both people. And I think about that a lot because, like many of you, although I was born here in the United States, to say, please allow the Indochine refugees into America. So again, the Black community was here, showing up for me, fighting for me, before they ever met me or my family. Thank you. White supremacy and colonization will have you believe that me and people that look like me are the model minorities. Well, you know what? I know we look good, but there's nothing model about minority. Colonization and white supremacy would have us believe that model minority is a path to our future. And I look out right now, the future is black and brown. There are hard conversations that we all have to have about anti-blackness in our communities, in our families. It took me 12 years to educate my dad about why it is that we were allowed to come here, and with a legal pathway, which we know is arbitrary AF. But he finally got there. And I know it's really, really hard, but again, the black community showed up for me before they even knew me or my family. I'm gonna show up for them. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm making sure that we're keeping our mics sanitary, everybody. All right, so I want to take a second to let you all know that COVID testing is going on until 3. It is not painful. I tried it. Definitely do it. I encourage you to do it. Not painful at all. We have somebody co-sign me for that. I also want to take a second to thank all of the elected officials that are here, or folks that are running for office. If you could please stand up so we can recognize you. If you are an elected official, stand up and raise your hand. I see Kristen, Cynthia, Zach, Deshaun, thank you so much for being here. Oh, and we see Monadas as well. Thank you. Thank you all for supporting. I also want to take a second to say thank you to our amazing organizers who made this happen. Shout out to Reagan Jackson, Shukri, Vinuen, Joaquin Lee, Hifia Abdullahi, Amanda Diaz, Arlene, Danya, Mohammed, Roxana, Robin, Uba. Thank you all so much for how much time and effort you all put into this and make this happen. I also want to take a second to recognize the 24 sponsors that really showed up and showed out for us to make this happen as well. So many to thank, but I want to take a second and acknowledge One America, Living Well Kent, the Somali Health Board, Mother Africa, Young Woman Empowered, STEB, Max Amen, Casa Latina, El Centro de la Raza, Global to Local. We have the Tequila Children's Foundation here. We have RAP's Committee for Diversity Inclusion. We have the CTAC Tequila Community Coalition, the King County Immigrant and Refugee Coalition, the City of Seattle's Office of Immigrant and Refugee Affairs. We have One America's Badass Youth Council here that supported this work. We have the Grassroots Leadership Steering Committee. We have Neighbor Care Health that's doing COVID testing. The Working Families Coalition. Public Health King County. The City of Seattle's Council President, Lorena Gonzalez. And last but not least, we have Care Washington. Thank you all so much for all that you've done, all your efforts. Thank you so much. So to start the program, we have our first speaker. Give me a second. An amazing youth. Her name is Duha Mohammed. Duha graduated from the University of Washington's Bothell campus. She focused her studies on prison studies. She's currently a sponsor of Monroe Corrections, trying to bring awareness to prison issues and working on a re-entry program specific to incarcerated Muslim youth. Give it up.
Hello everyone. It's so great to be here, and thank you, Shukri, and everybody for this opportunity. Like she said, my name is Duha. I'm an immigrant from Sudan, North Sudan specifically. I was born in Khartoum, but my parents immigrated in '98 just for opportunities and to provide for their children. But prior to that, my grandfather actually came to the States in 1964. He was awarded an opportunity. I'm gonna take this mask off real quick. He was awarded an opportunity to complete a certificate program at Ohio State University, which kind of allowed him to progress back home, but with the state of the United States in the 60s, he didn't last about 6 months. And he could never understand why a black person would choose to come to a country where their treatment was inhumane and their basic rights were non-existent. The next time that he stepped foot here was in the spring of 2001, and I remember him saying, "My, has this country changed." I think to myself, what would have happened if he had stayed, if he had brought my grandmother and his children here? How would that have affected our upbringing? Would my father have had similar experiences to the ones that I've encountered? Like I said, my parents immigrated here in '98. I was 11 months old and my sister was due soon. With a little bit of money in their pockets, a heart full of hope and contentment from the guidance from the Almighty above, my parents embarked on this journey. 20 years later, here we are.
Thank you.
The greater Seattle area is a unique place, without a doubt, and with unique experiences. We are engulfed in our own little sphere, as if we were bubble wrapped. Growing up black on the east side was my experience. The location didn't matter, the what never mattered, the who on the other end always did. I was the only black child in my schooling career, kindergarten through 12th grade. I was maybe one of two in my Sunday school class at the masjid. I was the only black girl on the basketball team for 3 consecutive years. College was when my bubble popped. College was the first place I had experienced both racism and Islamophobia, not only interpersonally, but got to see the machine that is working. But all that they could see, that I was from the east side, that somehow I got it easy because my family, quote unquote, have money. Coming to terms with my blackness was never an easy journey. It was isolating, confusing, and it was truly an internal battle. Growing up in a Sudanese household, this was never a topic of discussion, at least not in a positive manner. And the conditions that immigrant parents receive, both black passing and not, is one, to succeed here, is that to succeed here in a foreign land is to emulate those who are deemed, quote unquote, successful, and to stay away from those who aren't. And we both know who are in those consecutive groups. Growing up Muslim as well, the association to Arabness equated to being a good Muslim and was heavily present. We were often told, don't hang out with the black kids at school, which was so ironic because I was the only one. I wore my hijab at school not because I was a devoted little Muslim girl, but because it hid my hair. I remember watching the video, and my father had passed by and said, he asked me if I wanted to be like the girl on the screen. I remember thinking what was so wrong about that. And the girl on the screen was a black girl. It was around my freshman year of high school where I started to tap into what it meant to be black in America. And like Shukri said, you know, it was the first time you got to explore identities a little bit more deeply. I wore my hair curly, and that definitely drove my mother crazy. And I was the oldest child, and the oldest child of an immigrant household. And it was Tory. I wanted to be authentically 100% me, and I wanted to be proud of that. I remember having dinner conversations about police brutality, post-Trayvon, post-Ferguson, and what kept coming up was they should have followed the law, that they need to do what everyone else did, pull themselves up by the bootstraps. This narrative that if I could do it, so they could, is so deeply flawed. We need to be educated on the history of this land, the history of the people. We need to understand that we come with a lot of privileges, even with an immigrant status. And on the flip side, the immigrant experience is not an easy one to navigate either. But without dialogue, community building, and understanding, this divide will never heal. My one ask for everyone today is to engage in conversation. Ask why, ask how, ask what. Ask yourselves, how am I perpetuating and continuing anti-blackness discourse and behavior in my communities? Yes, even if we're black. If you have children, these are your primary sources today. most second generation African immigrants definitely identify as Black, and we may not, we may be from here and there, but when we step outside, all they see is the same. We must listen to their experiences of code switching, being anti-vigilant, and just maneuvering through schoolwork and everyday life. It's not easy. It's emotional. It's hard. And they need you. And we need you. Thank you.
Thank you, Duha. That was beautiful. Next up, we have Brother Benjamin. But before we bring him up, I wanted to take a second and acknowledge a few folks that I did not shout out. We have here MAPS Amen, the American Muslim Empowerment Network. We have folks from NERP, the Northwest Immigrant Rights Project, Moms Rising, and the Community Health Clinic as well. So sorry about that. One thing I also wanted to add is that we have interpretation, simultaneous interpretation that's happening. We want to make sure that this event is something that's accessible for our community whose first language is not English. So please come up to us if you need Spanish translation or Somali translation. Brother Benjamin, if you could please come up. Brother Benjamin Shabazz is a father of 4 children and a grandfather of 12. Wow. He has been a resident of Seattle since 1970. He's a Vietnam veteran and a community activist. Brother Benjamin is also an imam of the Al-Islam Center of Seattle and an African-American elder. Please welcome Brother Benjamin.
Shout out to everybody that came out today. To my Muslim brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum. We want to thank all the organizers for making this possible, because if you've ever been an organizer, you know how difficult it is. But mostly we want to thank the one that's responsible for having the sun come up today, for allowing all of us to be here today. My name is Brother Benjamin Shabazz, and I'm African American. I've been African American all my life, so I have some pedigree there. What I want to start off with is quoting a few people. The first one is our brother and our martyr and our elder, Brother Malcolm X. And he said this. He said, if we stand for nothing, we will fall for anything. So it is a pleasure to be here amongst the people that are standing for something. Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter. We remember, and we shall never forget, George Floyd. George Floyd was used by whoever is in charge. And I'm talking about the one who caused the sun to come up today. He was used to be the poster for the whole world, to show the international world what goes on in the United States of America and other Western countries. 8 minutes and 46 seconds. He begged and he pleaded, I can't breathe, I can't breathe, I can't breathe. And it was a young lady, 17 years old, who took those pictures. And she said her boyfriend had been killed the same way just about 2 or 3 weeks earlier than that. So it's time for a change. You know, when the thing's time has come, there's nothing you can do about it. So I turn on the television and I see people organizing in massive rallies in London. I seen them in the Middle East. I seen a plaque in Iran where the people had a big picture of George Floyd. And they were paying homage to this plight. We have a plight. It's a disease. It's called racism. It's called by many different names. Not only is there a pandemic going around, we call this virus, but there's another disease going around. And it's been able to be exposed. It's a cancer. It's called white supremacy. It's called white privilege. It's called white power. But Let's break it down. Let's break it down. A lot of people don't want to talk about this. A lot of people don't even understand this. So let's break it all the way down. When you growing up and you seen a picture on the wall, and that picture was of an idol, and under that idol, the identity of that idol was God in person on the planet Earth, and his name was Jesus. And so what did God look like on planet Earth named Jesus? A Caucasian. A white man. And I'm not talking about a white man from the Middle East. I'm not talking about a white man that may have been mixed up in some other races. I'm talking about a straight up Southern, blonde-haired, blue-eyed white boy. And I saw it on my walls at home. I went to my little black church and I saw it back in the backdrop. And I go on my friends' houses and I saw it on their walls. Said, this is God. Not a philanthropist, not somebody who did some good work in the community, but God in person. So what do you think that does to the mentality of all non-white people? It's a subliminal message. What do you think that does to the mentality of all white people? It's a subliminal message. And that message says this: God chose to come into the world through a particular race. God in his almighty magnificence chose to enter the world through a particular race. And it wasn't your race, but it was your race. So I'm 5 years old. My classmate is 5 years old. And I go home and I turn on the television. And he goes home and he turns on the television. And he turns on Tarzan. And what does he see in Tarzan? He sees a white man that has come to Africa, been there about 10, 15 years. He can speak all the languages of the natives. He can talk to the animals. He can control the animals. And he's running Africa. And I see that and I'm just so excited. And my white friend sees it at home and he's so excited. But what's the subliminal message that's going into our psyche, that's going into our brains? Is that white is right, white is better, white is strong, white is leadership. We used to have a saying back where I come from, back east. It says, if you're white, you're all right. If you're brown, stick around. If you're yellow, you mellow. But if you're black, get back. We had another saying. If a white man was selling ice and a black man was selling ice, the white man's ice was colder. We had another saying. Now see, I'm going old school. Some of y'all remember this stuff. We had another saying. If you're driving down the street and you see somebody's hood up and you see a black man working on the car, it says, nigger under the hood means car no good. And we would chuckle, ha 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 ha. But this was going into our psyche. This was going into our psyche. So now we come up to today. The people have woke up. And what are some of the changes that are being made? Some of the sports teams changing their names and giving respect and honor to those who have always wanted those names changed. Schools are changing their names from some of those Confederate people that were in the Civil War, taking those names down. Statues are being destroyed and taken down. The Confederate flag is being removed from venues. The Confederate flag is being removed from venues. We remember you, George Floyd. We will never forget you. Let's not ever forget this. The secret enforcer of racism is that image of a white man being God. We have to remove those images. And we have to remove all racial images that attempt to portray the divine. Not just the white ones, but the black ones. Because there's no human being that can claim the title of God Almighty. So I want to do a little crowd response. When I say when we fight, you say we win. When we fight, we win. When we fight, we win. They're trying to run me off a little bit. I'm not feeling. Call and response. When I say teamwork, you say makes the dream work. Teamwork makes the dream work. Teamwork makes the dream work. Teamwork makes the dream work. Last one. When I say Black Lives Matter, you say George Floyd. Black Lives Matter. George Floyd. Black Lives Matter. George Floyd. Black Lives Matter. George Floyd. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Brother Benjamin. Thank you so much. And next up, we have Maria Giron to say a few words. Maria, if you could come up.
Thank you very much for letting me be part of your community and for inviting me to share my child's name. My name is Maria Giron. My son was Oscar Perez Giron. Oscar Perez Giron was murdered June 30, 2014. And I am here to share a little bit about Oscar's story. Oscar was murdered by King County Sheriff Police Department on Soto train station to be paid the train fare, $2.50. They called Oscar Perez Giron? No way. They cannot be happy. $2.50 they cost Oscar's life? No. And I'm come over here to share my stories because I really need justice for Oscar. Justice for Oscar Perez Giron. Oscar Perez Giron. A police shot. They cost Oscar's life? No. Black lives matter. Latino lives matter. Native lives matter. All lives matter. Thank you very much for letting me share my story. And thank you guys to be here and support all the communities. Because Somalis and Ethiopian people, they deserve to be in respect a lot from the communities. And we love you guys. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Maria. Next up, we have Nikai Mackey. Nikai is a young Black woman who's from the Seattle area. She is currently attending Interlake High School in Bellevue and is a Running Star student. She's also an artist who also loves to be involved in programs that focus on uplifting her intersectional identity as well as her community. She's involved in the Young Women's Empowerment programming and the NAACP. Nikai wants to go to university and study the criminal justice system and as well as arts and music. Please welcome Nikai.
Hello. This is one of my poems. It's called Black Body Beauty. This black body is sacred. This black body is kind and soft. This black body is made of cocoa butter, sweet hibiscus, and lavender leaves. This black body is the closest thing to godliness you will ever encounter. This black body is exhausted.
This black body is not a political statement. Stop making black bodies a fucking political statement. This black body is terrorized. This black body is scared. Scared it might just become another hashtag. Scared it won't make it through another day of living. This black body is not a weapon. This black body is not a weapon. This black body is not a weapon. This black body is strong. This black body's soul will live forever. In the streets this black body decays in the hearts this black body loves. In the music this black body lost herself in the world this black body was hated in. Because this black body is resilient. And her resilience will be passed down to her unborn child and her unborn children's children. When this black body finally lays for rest, and the world is finally quiet, this black body will know that her life matters. Thank you.
I'm going to invite you all to just take a deep breath in. And release. I love you, Nakai. You're beautiful. Stop making black bodies an effing political statement. If that's the message, I don't know what is. Powerful message. Thank you so much. Our next speaker is Muna Aidid. Muna Aidid lives in the city of Takwila and is a student at Foster High School. She was born in Somalia and came to the United States for a better life and a better education. She is a leader here and a future advocate for better society, and her passion is to work with the community and help students who feel like they don't have a voice. Muna.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. In Somali, mnimani wa kuwet. In Swahili, umoja ni nguvu. In English, unity is strength. My name is Muna Aidid. I am proud to be black student of Foster High School and resident for the city of Takwila. As a black student, I support Black Lives Matter because without justice, there can be no livable future. For all people and my people, we need justice. I ask my fellow students to stand for justice. I urge everyone to be ally to the Black Lives Matter and to find ways to defend our involvement and to show the world that we are united. Thank you for being part of the Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter. No justice? No peace. No justice? No peace. No justice? No peace. Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter. Thank you.
I'll introduce you. Thank you so much, Muna. That was beautiful, mashallah. Look at our young people, y'all. Back in the day when I was 18, I did not look this fly. Okay, y'all need to stop. Okay, I think I had when I had pimples. I was a mess. I was weathered. 18-year-old now, mashallah. Okay, our next speaker. Muna is also an intern with Takwila City Councilwoman Cynthia de las Trinas. She's our next speaker. Cynthia was raised in Seattle. She's the daughter of immigrant parents from the Philippines. Shout out to the Philippines. She's an attorney and currently currently works as the manager of the Supreme Court Commissions with the Administrative Office of the Courts. Her work focuses on statewide projects and policies which address racial equity, gender equity, and language access in the courts. Wow, such needed work. In November of 2019, Cynthia became the first woman of color elected to the Tukwila City Council. Additionally, she serves as the co-president of the Tukwila Children's Foundation, one of our sponsors, and has been a longtime board member for the Filipino Lawyers of Washington. Cynthia?
Hello? Okay, you can all hear me. Welcome to Tukwila. Thank you guys for being here in our city. And I'm here, and I'm speaking also on behalf of my fellow council members and mayor who are here in your presence. Deshaun Quinn, Zaki Dunn, Kate Kruller. I see Mayor Eckberg back there, and these little water bottles. He bought these all for you guys, so let's give him a hand. Thank you. Bernie Steele, I saw you earlier. I know you're here. I'm here on behalf of my city council and my city because I can tell you, this is my first year on council, but I'm proud to say that our council is committed to the Black Lives Matter movement. And you know, we're not perfect. We're not perfect by all means, you know, but we're trying. And I think each one of us, and that's all we can do is try, and we're here, and they showed up. And I'm really proud. I'm looking at my guys over here who are like, here, we're here for you, Cynthia, but we're all here together. And that's the message today. So I never thought that I would ever be an elected official. I was always the person to just say, yeah, you go do it. You want money, I'll support you. You go, I'm in the background. I never thought that me, myself, would be a city council member. I'm the daughter of immigrant parents from the Philippines. And growing up, we experienced, me and my sisters who are all here to support me too, we experienced our fair share of racism, discrimination, inequity, poverty, all of these things that exist within our communities. And it wasn't until a class I took in high school, I went to Garfield High School, so shout out to any bulldogs out there, both Foster and Garfield. A class I took in Garfield High School called Minorities in America. And I always make it a point to bring this up because that's where my activism and advocacy started. It started in high school, and it started because of that class that shared with me our history of racism and made these things that my family was experiencing part of a bigger societal issue that I realized that I wanted to be a part of the change. And so I looked up to people like Thurgood Marshall, and they said, how can I be a part of this movement? I want to be a lawyer. I want to be a civil rights lawyer like Thurgood Marshall, because discrimination that I read in my history books was happening in my school. And I said, we need to continue this fight, and that's how I want to join it. So, fast forward, right now I do work at the statewide level. I have the privilege of working with our state Supreme Court, which is now the most diverse court in the country. Most diverse court, most amazing people. And I do work around race, language access, gender equity. And I never thought that I would be running for city council, but I was challenged last year, like literally earlier, 2019, the year I ran. I was challenged by a friend who said, why don't you run? There's a seat open, why don't you run? And at first I said, no, not me. But then I thought about it. And I said, if I'm gonna advocate, and if I'm an advocate for civil rights, I need to be here right at home and bring those same skills and that advocacy that I use at the statewide level to my home. Because for those of you who don't know Tukwila is one of the most diverse cities in King County. We are majority people of color. We are refugees. We are immigrants. So many of us, we are renters. And we experience our share of racism discrimination, gentrification, all of these issues happening in my own city. And last year, I could not take a sideline anymore. I had to step up. So, I want you guys to remember that you're here in Tukwila. I want you, as we walk down the boulevard, to take a look around you and not forget us. We are an important part of this movement. The people here need everybody, all the resources that are here. One America, neighborhood health care, public health, or King County Public Health. We need you here in our city, in Tukwila. Please do not forget us. For the people who walk down the street, who live here, walk down, look around. What do you want to see as your future? What do you want International Boulevard to look like? For us, for my council members, we want it to look like International Boulevard. The only way that we could make that happen is by all of you guys committing to that, to working with us, to not forgetting Tukwila. And when people ask where are resources needed, please say Tukwila. And please connect with me and my council members and my mayor over there. We want you here. How could you get involved? Here are some things that I think are really important right now and need to be a part of this movement as well. Are you registered to vote?
Yeah.
Is your family registered to vote? I'm proud to say that my mom just became a U.S. citizen, and this is her first time voting. Have you taken the census? Have you taken the census? Do you guys know we're walking through Tukwila to SeaTac? Tukwila and SeaTac have the lowest numbers of census, people who filled out the census at this point. The census is what funnels money into our communities. We need to take the census, and we need to remind people of how important it is. Everybody is counted. Lastly, I want you all, especially the young people, to think about running for office.
Yeah.
And I wanted Nuna to come out here. I'm glad she came before me so you can hear how powerful she is. Because when I met her this year, I felt that power from her. And all she said to me, I said, what do you want to do when you grow up? She said, I just want to help my community. That's all she said, not, I want to do it this way, I want to do it that way. She just said, I want to help my community. And I said, you need to be in my seat. And that's my plan. That's my plan. I believe that our leaders should be paving the way for new leaders like Mona. So all of you, I challenge you. You see us. You see them. They're standing. Deshaun and Zach and Mayor Eckford are here. If you're interested or you're thinking about it, just come say hi to us. Because we want you here. I want you here. You are our future. Thank you.
One time for Councilwoman Cynthia Velasquez. And thank you for having the courage to lead. Right? You mentioned getting the call last year, and it's because of women like you and gentlemen like Deshaun and Zach and Mona's and Kirsten's and Jamila Taylor in the 30th, and right, it's because of you all that many of us feel like we could do it too, right? Because we see you paving the way. So thank you. I want to call up to the mic our next speaker, Reagan Jackson.
Yes.
Reagan Jackson is the program director for Young Women Empowered, Why Me, and the co-creator of Blackout Healing. She is a writer, an activist, an international educator with an abiding love of justice, spirituality, and creating community. She's an award-winning journalist and was a columnist for the Seattle Globalist and the South Seattle Herald. Shout out to the Herald. Her other published works include 3 collections of poetry, God, Care, Love, and America, Love in Guatemala, and Summoning Unicorns, and 2 children's books, Coco La Swish, Coco La Swish, A Fish from a Different Rainbow, and Coco La Swish, When Rainbows Go Blue. Check out our podcast, The Deep End, at thedeependfriends.lipsyn.com. Reagan.
It is so beautiful to be here. Thank you all for being here. When people ask me where I'm from, I usually say Wisconsin, and then they say, where are you really from? And I say, Iowa. And they say, no, but like your ancestors. And I say, well, my mom and my grandma and my great-great-great-grandmother were all born in Des Moines, Iowa. I'm not kind of black. I'm not kind of African American. And this is my lineage, and so I'm going to just pour a libation for my black and indigenous and white ancestors, because even me standing before you today is a healing for those communities. And because my youth told me so, I'm going to share a poem with you. There is no breath in this body. I have stretched to breaking. Every day is more violent than the last. Another name, another crime, another hashtag. Another story I'm ashamed to not want to remember. Where is my American amnesia when I need it the most? Lost beneath the footage of another child shot and killed. Another child thrown to the floor and beaten. Some mother's child turned victim. And there is no refuge from this violence. No safe space to rest my eyes. Closed eyes are for corpses. The living live to see, to witness, with bound hearts, the agony of cannon fodder, for a revolution like the storm that never seems to break, that just looms promisingly while the crops wither and die, leaving only strange fruits behind. And they aren't confined to southern trees. They fall from gunshots to northern knees. They sprout up in the most unlikely places, blossom on subway platforms or empty basins, in locked jail cells strung up by their own laces. The strange seeds have spread like a pestilent weeds, and I can't breathe. I can't write another funeral poem, can't create a sufficient picket sign, can't rationalize, can't debate, can't stand still, can't meditate, can't pray when my church has been set on fire, can't unbreak my heart, can't allow media to sedate me, but mostly I just can't fucking breathe. And this is my country, and I can't just leave. Can't believe, can't understand the difference between white liberals and the Ku Klux Klan when both are complicit, one apologetic and one dismissive, because all lives matter. It's the highest truth of equality, that all lives seem to matter except the lives of the people who look like me. And there is no breath in my body. I am stretched to breaking, broken, haunted, a walking reminder that for some of us, freedom still isn't free. Now I'd like all of you to just take a breath with me. Our breath is sacred. Every day that we are alive to breathe another breath is a moment where we are alive to enact and enable change. Is a moment where we are responsible, are accountable to serve justice. But also, we are responsible and accountable to heal ourselves and to heal our communities, and to create communities that will be healing places where our children and our grandchildren will be able to breathe, will find safety, will find life, will find joy, will find love. So today I'm grateful to be here with you all, to be in solidarity with every one of you, because that is what it's going to take. It's going to take every one of us to co-create this new world, this new vision. We can't just leave it at the end of this poem. We can't leave ourselves in a place of brokenness. That's all I got for you. Thank you, Megan. Always so powerful.
She was born in a refugee camp in Eastern Kampala. She is a young person, a poet, a writer, and an organizer, working to bring her voice to enact change that's centered and rooted in her experience as a Black immigrant. So without further ado, come on up.
Hey y'all. How y'all doing? So, I was gonna say, I actually grew up around here. It's actually pretty funny to see how much has changed. It's been a while, but seeing this whole thing right now, I don't even recognize it. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know. Tukwila has changed. Wow, it's changed. But anyway, I graduated. I went to Thorndike Elementary when I first moved to Washington, and then I went to Showalter. But then as I finished up Showalter, I got gentrified out, and now I live in Better Way. So it's pretty crazy to see this much change in the city I grew up in. A little bit. It's really sad. It was really sad, and to be honest, I don't see a lot of my people in the crowd too. So that's even more sad. But anyway, we out here. Let me just put this down. Coming here as a refugee, I didn't know that I was Black. And didn't know until someone called me the N-word in the middle of class in 5th grade. That I didn't know. I didn't know what that meant either way. Like, I was only 6 years old, so I was like, what? What's that word mean? But anyway, I never realized until I was Black. Then as I grew up, I started learning more about the system of repression that have existed in America that would make it hard for people like me to exist or even to thrive. I tried every day not to fit the stereotype of a Black woman, or even as a Black Muslim woman. I tried so hard, and sometimes that meant erasing my Blackness, not speaking my native tongue as often, or talking as white as possible. Always being under the white gaze can do that to you. It will subject you to constantly feel like you yourself isn't enough, that you have to be someone else to feel or to be seen like you matter. It took me a while to be as unapologetic as I am right now. It took me a while for me to embrace my Black skin, melanin and all, and whenever I do go into white spaces, I make sure I throw it in their faces. That when you are unapologetic, that in of itself threatens them because they know your self-worth was broken before, but you built it back up again and you refuse to have it fall down. Here's the thing. When you are confident, you refuse to see nothing but yourself in every space you go into. I expect nothing less from my community leaders than to center my Blackness in everything they do. The spaces that don't serve me nor the Black community. They serve themselves. How do you expect liberation for your community when liberation means allying yourself with whiteness? You think if you just divvy up to this white institution and maybe you'll get what you want, completely ignoring the community that are separating the most. No one is free until Black people are free. If you end up at my liberation, then I'm not about yours. That's how it should work. It shouldn't take a police murdering a Black person for us to wake up. This has been happening in our communities for years. Black immigrants are constantly killed by police, by SPD, by Tukwila PD. Black immigrants are traumatized every day because of ICE and immigration. The fact that UCIS is only minutes from Abu Bakr should be alarming to you all. The fact that CTEC took down 100+ Black businesses to build a police center should be alarming to us. But like anything, our community leaders are silent. When Black immigrant men are being killed in Tukwila and in CTEC, when most young Black immigrants are deported and picked up by ICE, our community leaders and orgs are silent. This has been happening in our communities for years, and I'm sick and tired of asking and pleading that they do something, that they use the power, resources, and the money that the people gave y'all access to actually use and center the community that's been impacted the most by a broken and unjust criminal in every institution, in every system. I'm tired of the BLM letters. I'm tired of the statements. I want actual change being taken to address these structural institutional problems that are ingrained in our community. I want y'all to do actual change in our community from the bottom up and even more. Every community leader should listen to this. I'm sick and tired of seeing my people being killed, arrested, and deported on the streets. ICE and every single police that exists in SKC, South King County, have deliberately made sure that our community is the one that is being targeted. I'm sick and tired of seeing this happen in my community, and only wishing for my community leaders to do something when they're completely and utterly silent. Your silence means violence. Your silence is deafening. It means you don't care about my community and about my life mattering. I'm sick and tired of pleading y'all to value my life when y'all should have been valuing me from the beginning. When were our community leaders when the Federal Mall was torn down to build a prison only minutes from Foster High, one of the most diverse schools in the country? When were our communities when our young black men were being shot in the streets, when our young black immigrants are being deported? These areas from West Center all the way down to SeaTech, all the way to South Seattle, has the largest black immigrant population in the state. Yet it is the most criminalized, most surveilled, most policed communities in the state, in all of Washington. Your silence is deafening. Your silence is betrayal. I'm tired of asking. Now I'm demanding. When I shouldn't be demanding for my life to matter to you when all of this should have mattered from the beginning. I'm tired of seeing my community suffering when you all have the power in the world to do something. I'm tired of seeing my community helpless and at its knees, but you can give them all the power in the world to feel like that they are doing something. The question is, when is it time for you? When do you draw the line? When will you stand up for us? When will we feel like we can count on you? As of right now, the community is tired of asking. The community is demanding. We expect every community leader to enact actual structural change in everything they do, every policy decision, and everything regarding our community. Like I said from the beginning, if it ain't about my liberation, I'm not about yours. If black people aren't free, none of us are free. Immigrant justice has included to be racial justice. You're either with us or against us. You're either for the black community or you're not. There is no in between. Tap in or tap the fuck out. It's your choice. The question is, what will you do? Thank you.
Thank you, Nora. There's one thing that you're going to take away from today, in addition to what you came here for, is listen to black women. I am honored to introduce our next speaker. It is the esteemed Estela Ortega. She's a local living legend and someone I really look up to for everything that she has done for the advancement of people of color, for community, and to build a better future that we know is possible. So with that, I'm just gonna bring Estela up. I'm not gonna speak for you. Come on up.
Thank you so much for those kind sentiments. But we all know that not one person makes change. It is a collective, a group of people, a community that makes change. But thank you again for those kind sentiments. Dear friends, it is an honor and a privilege to be given the opportunity to express solidarity and support for African immigrants and refugees. Thank you. I am the Executive Director of El Centro de la Raza and one of the founders of El Centro, which translates into the Center for People of All Races, and was purposely chosen to emphasize our commitment to unity with all people from all backgrounds. I am originally from the state of Texas, a land that was colonized by the United States, taking a total of 55% of Mexican territory during the Mexican-American War of 1848. Our people on those annexed lands were guaranteed citizenship and a title to their lands, yet we would be treated like second-class citizens in our ancestral homeland. From 1848 to 1928, white vigilantes and Texas Rangers lynched thousands of Mexicans with impunity. Dominant white culture perpetuated the stereotype that Mexicans who spoke Spanish were lazy, stupid, and without worth. As late as the 1960s, there were still signs posted in restaurants that said, "No dogs or Mexicans allowed." So fast forward to 1972, and Centro de la Raza started with the peaceful occupation of an abandoned school building on October the 11th, 1972. With the dedication of many to build a community center that has grown and thrived for almost 5 decades. El Centro won its building because of the support that we received from Black, Indigenous, Asian, and white allies. We would not be here today without that solidarity. Our most important work is to build multiracial unity amongst all people. We ask ourselves, how can we best build unity amongst all people for positive social change? How do we create an inclusive organization and community? We are honored to be here, to be up here today, to be supportive, to build relationships, and call on each other for building a stronger immigrant movement for justice and fairness for all people. The immigration debate in the U.S. is often framed as only for undocumented immigrants from Mexico, Central and Latin America. We are here today for undocumented African immigrants who have left their home countries as Mexican and Latin American immigrants have. You too have left because of persecution, the ravages of war, hunger, sexual and gender-based violence, and climate change. African undocumented immigrants have also had their families ripped away from them. You too have been thrown into detention centers for long periods of time and fearing deportation. Many of you came as children in the same way Mexican and Central American children came. And you also are dreamers. You also are DACAs. There are approximately 619 undocumented Black immigrants living in the United States. This needs to be known by our movement and the population in general. We are in unity with Black Lives Matter because it is right and just. El Centro holds up the Latino community and we say, también somos negros, también somos negros. And that translates into, we are also Black. During the Atlantic slave trade, Latin America was also a destination for millions of African people. 1 in 4 Latinos identify as Afro-Latino who suffer injustices both to the color of their skin and anti-immigrant racism. In wrapping up my comments, as African immigrants, African Americans, and Latino and other immigrants, we are stronger together when we fight against structural racism. We must work together and raise the visibility of Black undocumented immigrants and refugees in the struggle for immigration reform. The broader community must know you are here. At El Centro de la Raza, we are committed to educating our community about African undocumented immigrants and combating anti-Blackness. Tu lucha es nuestra lucha. Your fight is our fight. We are one people in the struggle for justice against the inequities that impact both of our communities. So I'm going to need your help. I want to do something that the late Roberto Maestas would always do. He would end his speeches with Viva. And so I will say Viva El Centro de la Raza, and then you say in unison Viva with your hands in the air. So do you all understand that? All righty, very good. Viva George Floyd! ¡Viva! ¡Viva los inmigrantes! ¡Viva! ¡Viva Black Lives Matter! ¡Viva Black Lives Matter! ¡Mil gracias!
Thank you so much, Estella. That was so powerful. I'm just processing right now myself. Before I introduce the next speaker, I just want to give a really quick shout out while she's not paying attention to dear sister Anila. We are so happy you're here. Normally she's up here on the stage with all of us, but you know she's like, I get to take some time off too and get to sit down. So next we have Adasha Turner. Wow, the bio that she shared has a lot of words, so I'm gonna try to get through them. English is not my first language, so if I stumble, I'm sorry. It's fine? Oh, well. Reading Adasha's bio, which is shared on the event, the thing that really stuck out to me is that she has a podcast, so everybody subscribe.
Wow, this is beautiful. And I say that as an African American convert in 20 years who raised my child in Islamic institutions that, oh, is that better? Sorry about that. I was saying that this is beautiful, being an African American convert to Islam over 20 years ago. Having this coalition and seeing this many diverse people out here was just unheard of. I pride myself as a clinical neurophysiologist, I'm retired now, but to provide the best education for my sister, for my children as possible. So I sought out private education and within the Islamic institution. And to my disappointment, when we talk about these intersections.
Shukri. Shukri. The mic.
Sorry, I'm about to pass out. When we talk about these intersections, you know, the intersections between being an American, being a Muslim, being black, and being a woman, and having to do donuts at that intersection because you just don't know which way to go, and there is no support. And when you go to the masjid, and when you go to the Islamic schools, and my children used to see other black kids and think like, okay, alhamdulillah, we found our tribe, there's gonna be people who understand our struggle. And erasure is real, y'all. And elevate themselves on that, on privileges that, and rights, and avenues that we were just never granted as being African Americans. So I chose to homeschool my children, and in that venture, and growing my own business in neurodiagnostics, I was faced with one of the hardest decisions in my life when I worked at Stanford Traumatic Brain Injury Institute in Palo Alto. I was happy because it was one of the highlights of my career, but at the same time, I was tasked to treat soldiers that were coming back with shell shock and frontal lobe personality disorders related to blood trauma and brain injury from fighting Muslims, my brothers and sisters, over in the Iraqi war. So when I went to soul search on what is the right thing to do, I turned to the Quran. And the Quran was, one for your brother, but you want for yourselves. It is, if you let one man die, it's as if you killed all of humanity. So I had to put all of these intersections aside and know that all of these intersections are on the road map to humanity. I shouldn't have to choose. I shouldn't have to be unapologetically anything. I am in this race, and it's a human race. We all need to be looking out for each other. So I had to put my bootstraps back on, and even though I didn't understand, my job was to educate. As a homeschooling educator, I had to recognize and point out this oppressive education system and this colonizer's mentality that I am not strong enough, wise enough, or wide enough to educate my child. When we all know the education system's broke, it's not, a lot of it's not true. And we take it and we adapt this. and we try to create independent minds. But the system is for us to be laborers. The system is for us to be complacent. The system is not for us to rise. So as we are sitting here doing these donuts in the intersections of being black, being American, and being a Muslim, and being a woman, we have to remember humanity. We cannot let that slip by. We have to educate our youth, our imams, our leaders, and to be honest, if in the day and age of what's going on now, if people and our elected officials are not talking about community in your community, they do not need to be in your face, let alone in your space. We need to get out here, vote, do some research. There are a lot of organizations out here that are present today that are looking to preserve this community, to bring organization to our community, and have the census, the money from the census goes to our community. So we do have to get out there and do our part. And that being said, being a representative of Honest Family Solutions and starting a youth empowerment network and podcast and through entrepreneurship and education, I just want to say in the words of Marcus Garvey, it's never too late to go back and get what you forgot. And that's what we need to do. And we need to bring our youth and let them lead and listen. Amen.
Can we give it up for Bob and team? Everybody's trying to get COVID, you know what I mean? Okay, Adasha, Jazakallah, that was beautiful. No, we're just running short on time. Thank you so much, that was beautiful. So we're gonna start the rally, friends. I wanna call Amanda from One America to do the Know Your Rights, and then I'm gonna call our chant leaders to the front.
You're gonna finish the last one. Hide on the shade.
Good afternoon. Can you hear me? Yeah. All right. Who's ready to march for Black Lives? All right. So, as you can see, we have police presence around. We are here to march peacefully in our community, but we know that throughout the country, the police have not necessarily responded peacefully when community is peacefully. So we're just going to take a few moments to go over some of our rights, our constitutional rights, and a quick safety plan. So first, regardless of immigration status, everyone in the United States has the right, the fundamental human right guaranteed by the U.S. Constitution to protest. If you get stopped by the police for some reason, ask if you are free to go, and if they say yes, call the operator. You have the right to record anything regarding the police's behavior, so please record as you will. The police cannot confiscate your videos or photos without a warrant. The police's main job in a protest is to protect the protest and to de-escalate threats of violence. But again, we know that the police have harmed, killed, and have created mistrust in our communities, which is why we know that community protects itself, which is why we're doing the safety plan. If you feel more comfortable writing down the Lawyers Guild number, I will be repeating it right now, so take out your phones or a pen if you feel like that would be best for you. We don't anticipate that. We are not planning any civil disobedience nor arrests. But the Lawyer Guild's number is 206-658-7963. And I'll repeat that again. It's 206-658-7963. And of course, if we look around, we are a crowd of beautiful immigrants, refugees, and Black and brown communities and allies. But we also know that we may have undocumented folks or folks with varying immigration statuses, so we also have a few recommendations. If you identify within this category, please stay close to your group, the people that you came with at all times. Buddy up, try to stick to one person the whole time and for them to know your exit
So if you have a few moments when we start, make sure you have an exit plan.
Not this Sunday, but I'm good on
Leave the
Sunday.
protest
Sunday
wherever you feel unsafe. So if there's ever a moment where you don't feel safe, please
Sundays
leave
is the
and
best time for
contact
me.
anybody that was up here on the stage to
Sundays are
communicate.
ufian. Or in the evening.
If there is an altercation with police, with federal agents, whatever it is, we are asking white allies and citizens to stand on the outskirts of the rally to protect our immigrant and refugees and our beautiful Black and Brown community. So if you feel comfortable doing that, we ask that those allies use their privilege and become barriers between us and police. And now I want to shout out Nikayla and B. They are our chat leaders. So we're going to also practice safety procedures with this. We're going to do the hand signals.
Hi everyone, my name is Nikayla Rice. Okay, so I know that we are going to start protesting soon, but I want everyone to stand up at this moment just because we are getting ready. So, this is how it's going to go.
Thank you for the help.
When we want to stop, we want our one hand up like this. I just want everyone to do this so we all know what stop means.
Yep.
Perfect. All right, what does this mean? Stop. There we go. All right, second one, to slow down. My favorite one because I walk somehow fast. Well, people tell me, which I don't think is true. So the second one, slow down, is going to be. I need everyone's participation with this.
Yeah.
All right, that one is slow down, and the third one is, and then silence. Silence. Okay. This is gonna be silence. Sorry, silence right here. Both hands up. We want everyone to hush down. Please keep that. So we know all this. I just want everyone to make some noise here. Come on, let's do this. Woo! We're gonna meet on the other side of that clock, okay? And then we're gonna keep on moving. We're gonna turn on international, and we're gonna stop on 160th, okay? Just want to let everyone know 160th is gonna be where our stop is. So we're all good.
Just to add, we'll have a couple speakers conclude the event, so don't leave, including council member of the city of SeaTac, Tekele. So let's go. And then Amanda. And then last thing, we do have some police marshals in the back corner. If they can raise their hands, they have pink signs. So if you have any questions around safety, if you have an altercation, please go to them. There is also water in this corner of the library, so please make sure you have a water bottle, you're hydrated, hydrate as you walk, and we're ready to get started. You want to lead us in maybe one chant?
All right, guys, one chant right now. Whose lives matter?
Black lives matter!
Whose lives matter?
Black lives matter!
Whose lives matter?
Black lives matter!
All right, guys, let's get moving. Let's do this. Woo!
My butt is soaking wet from the
Oh, you got a sock there?
It's like soaking.
It's all right. Because of the tree.
Yeah. It's like that one. I'll double check my car.
ورقنا الوطن اهو انا احنا قاعدين في رقم حلوه ما من هو انا ليش قدر يجي لا سيدي لا وضع انا وريت حواي
So it's just going to take 5 minutes for everyone to get collected over here. We do need the speaker, so just give us a moment, but let's stand up and start getting moving. Thank you, guys. Please, I've been to so many protests where people faint. I do not want to see that here. Please drink some water. That is like the best thing.
أنا كنت أقول إن Black Lives Matter عن كل إن حالة الجود دلكو إنه قتل مدة إسلا مركان Black Lives Matter ولا دائما يجتوا أحوالك المديرات سوريات لما ذهبوا إلى كل عيشوا مركا عملنا هاي be one community and one unity. That's why we're here. That's what we're today.
Thank you, brother. Masanta. Thank you so much. How you doing, brother? You wanna talk? You wanna speak? Go ahead, brother. This is brothers and sisters. We're here in Tequila. This is David Hackney. He's running for 11th district. The ballots are out. I already casted my vote, so I'm asking every community member in Tequila and 11th district to vote for our brother David. Go ahead, David.
Thank you all. I appreciate the vote. Black Lives Matter. With my immigrant brothers and sisters, we're all in this together, fighting for economic justice, healthcare, education, and prosperity. And with your help, we'll be working together. Looking forward to it.
Thank you so much. How are things going on so far?
Well, you know, it's with the pandemic, haven't been able to campaign outside much. Just been dropping literature at front doors. But I did receive the endorsement of both The Stranger and the Seattle Times.
Nice,
so
and we are with you, brother. And been reaching out to a lot of folks. The ballots are out, and people are. We are very fortunate to be one of the states that have mail-in voting, and that will be advantage for us. Thank you so much for running. It means a lot. Thank you.
Man. One love.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
So are you, I was talking there, are you, how's the GOTV, how's it get out the vote actually going? Are you collecting ballots?
Oh, yeah. Okay. It's going good. We having the little parties here and there just to make sure that to vote.
Yeah. Appreciate you, brother. We'll be in touch.
Muna. Muna waa gabar yar oo dhigata high schoolka Foster meeshii ilmahayga ka baxeen runtii haddana siftiga la shaqeysa Cynthia council member u ah maxay ahayd intern Muna ka waran maanta banaanbaxa ما شاء الله ما شاء الله وصعنا هذا باسيفيك هايوي دنا الحري international boulevard ولقينا marka ما شاء الله Muna waa mahadsantahay. Thank you for being a good leader. شلونك؟ السلام عليكم. في عنتك؟ خير الحمد لله. Let's go. How you doing? Good to see you. سلو جدًا ضل الحري. وحد يا سنتاي. You ready to walk? ما شاء الله. سيدي دي موقتها. ها اللي هنا. هذه ودده لما حرنتها international boulevard أونن. الحري. waxaa ka jira ما شاء الله تبارك الله socod aad u dheer haye ما شاء الله تبارك الله international boulevard oo dhan ayaa la xirayaa socodka bilaabanaya insha Allah saana loo xirtaa haddii kale waa la iska daayaa ma fahan maaskiga ya marka insha allahu tacaala socodkaa noo bilaabanaya soomaalida xaafadaha Takwila degan ka soo qayb gala waddada International Boulevard oo dhan waa la xiray waxaa loo xirayaa socodka 144 kan ka bilaabeynaa maqaayadda Jubba agteeda ilaa iyo waxaan ku tegaynaa hadduu ilaahay yiraahdo 160 soo qorax macaana waa jirtaa xoogaa xeerta la iska dhigin soo baxa socodka ka soo qayb qaata insha allah imaada barakallahu fiikum
Make some noise. Let's make our voices heard. Hey, you gotta be louder than that. Come on. We gotta do this. Let's say that. Woo! It's time to get uncomfortable here, okay? All right. We're gonna start.
My backpack. I need my earplugs.
Let's move forward, guys. Are we ready?
Yeah, let's go.
You got this? Let's do this, guys. No justice.
No peace.
No justice.
No peace.
No justice.
No peace.
No racist.
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 No peace.
No justice.
No peace.
No racist. No justice. No racist. No justice.
No peace.
No racist.
No peace.
All right, we're gonna switch this up a little bit. If you're not angry, you're not listening. If you're not angry,
You're not listening.
if you're not angry,
You're not listening.
if you're not angry,
You're not listening.
if you're not angry,
You're not listening.
if you're not angry,
You're not listening.
if you're not angry,
You're not listening.
if you're not angry,
You're not listening.
if you're not angry,
You're not listening. You're not angry. You're not listening.
if you're not angry,
You're not listening.
if you're not angry,
You're not listening.
no justice,
No peace.
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 no racist,
No peace.
no justice,
No peace.
no racist,
No peace.
no justice,
No peace.
no racist.
No peace.
Woo, make some noise, come on. Black lives. Black lives. Black lives. Black lives. Black lives. Woo. All right, I see that we are walking a little too fast here. I'm sorry, guys. All right, we're just gonna keep on walking. I just want to know whose lives matter here. Whose lives? All right, guys, this is the same energy I need this whole time. We're walking down 160th. I know it's hot, but we really need to make our voices heard. Okay? Cool, make some real noise here. Woo! I don't know. Do we have any volunteers who'd like to help us with this? In the middle, maybe? Any volunteers? Go.
The megaphone, somebody
the banner to move up. And then, so we want the people holding, thank you, I don't know your names. Wonderful, beautiful people here. Maria, thank you. And then we want, if you guys can get in the front of it, please. And then you guys, the speaker, back down, back that way. Oh my goodness, busy day. All right, we're gonna dive in here. Okay. Here's a chant that no one ever listens to or ever has heard, mostly that I know of. But how about this? Don't give in to racist fears. Immigrants are welcome here. Don't get into racist fears.
Immigrants are welcome here.
Don't give in to racist fears.
Immigrants are welcome here.
Don't give in to racist fears.
Immigrants are welcome here.
Don't give in to racist fears.
Immigrants are welcome here.
Second call on here is refugees are welcome here. So we're going to go 1, 2 with that, okay? Don't give in to racist fears. Don't give in to racist fears.
Immigrants are welcome here.
Don't give in to racist fears. And then the next one's going to be, don't give in to racist fears. Refugees are welcome here. How about that? I know we feel this one, right? All right? Woo! Okay. Don't give in to racist fears.
Refugees are welcome here.
Don't give in to racist fears.
Refugees are welcome here.
Yes.
Refugees are welcome here.
Don't give in to racist fears.
Refugees are welcome here.
Don't give in to racist fears.
Refugees are welcome here.
Yes. Yes. Okay, guys, we can keep going. We can keep moving up now. But that's what we'll be saying not this whole time, but let's keep making that movement. Let's hear that energy more. Huh? All right, guys. Don't give in to racist fears.
Refugees are welcome here.
Oh, you gotta say it louder than that. Come on. A little louder. Don't give in to racist fears.
Refugees are welcome here.
Don't give in to racist fears.
Refugees are welcome here.
Don't give in to racist fears. Don't give in to racist fears. Switch it up with refugees. Ready? Don't give in to racist fears.
Refugees are welcome here.
Don't give in to racist fears.
Refugees are welcome here.
Don't give in to racist fears.
Refugees are welcome here.
Don't give in to racist fears.
Refugees are welcome here.
Don't give in to racist fears.
Refugees are welcome here.
Don't give in to racist fears.
Refugees are welcome here.
Woo! Make some noise! Come on! All right.
For being here. This is an incredible thing to just come off of Black Lives, right? So just keep celebrating the magic of being here. Let's hear some applause for yourselves.
I can help you if she gets tired. I can help you.
Whose lives matter?
Black Lives Matter!
Whose lives matter?
Black Lives Matter!
Whose lives matter?
Black Lives Matter!
Money for schools, not police. Money for schools,
Not police.
money for schools,
Not police.
money for schools,
Not police.
money for schools,
Not police.
money for schools,
Not police.
money for schools,
Not police!
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 money for schools.
Not police!
Okay, guys, make some noise. I really need to All right. Hey, hey, ho, ho. These racist cops have got to go. Hey, hey.
These racist cops have got to go. Hey, to stop, they must go. Hey, hey, ho, ho. These rights to stop, they must go. Hey, hey, ho, ho. These rights to stop, they must go. Hey, hey.
Roxana.
How
are you? Good. How are you? Good to see you. How's everything?
Beautiful. How are you?
Good. Good.
It's my city.
Yes.
You all know who she is. So say her name. Say her name. Say her name. We can keep moving forward. Keep saying her name. Say 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 her name. Woo, excellent noise, guys. Out of your home. 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 Huh? What's wrong? Oscar.
Oscar Perez. Oscar Perez Girón. Oscar Perez Girón. Perez Girón. Oscar Perez Girón. Oscar Perez. Say his name. Oscar Perez Girón. Say his name. Oscar Perez Girón. Say his name. Oscar Perez Girón. 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 Thank you.
Black lives matter. 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 Into the street! 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 Into the streets.
Out of your home.
Into the streets.
Out of your home.
Into the streets.
Out of your home.
Into the streets.
Whose lives matter?
Black lives matter.
صوتها عنه صوتها صوتها.
Out of the store.
Let's go, let's go.
Out of the store.
Into the streets.
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 Keep some on, let's take this out.
Into the streets.
Let's go, guys.
Into the
Let's go,
streets.
let's go.
Out of the store.
Into the streets.
Whose lives matter?
Black lives matter.
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 Make some noise. No justice.
No police.
No justice.
No police.
No racist.
Police.
No justice.
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 No peace.
No racist.
Police.
No justice. What do we want? What do we want, guys? When do we want it?
Now.
What do we want?
Justice.
When do we want it?
Now.
What do we want?
Justice.
When do we want it?
Now.
What do we want?
Justice.
When do we want it?
Now.
What do we want?
Justice.
When do we want it?
Now.
What do we want?
Justice.
When do we want it?
Now.
What do we want?
Justice.
When do we want it?
Now.
What do we want?
Justice.
When do we want it?
Now.
What do we want?
Justice.
When do we want it?
Now.
What do we want?
Justice.
When do we want it?
Now.
What do we want?
Justice.
When do we want it?
Now.
What do we want?
Justice.
When do we want it?
Now.
Woo! Hey, hey! Ho, ho!
These racist cops have got to go.
Hey, hey! Ho, ho! These racist cops have got to go! Hey, hey! Ho, ho!
These racist cops have got to go.
Hey, hey!
Ho, ho.
These racist cops have got to go! Hey, hey! Ho, ho! These racist cops have got to go! Hey, hey! Ho, ho! These racist cops have got to go! Hey, hey! Ho, ho! These racist cops have got to go! Hey, hey! Ho, ho! These racist cops have got to go! Hey, hey! Ho, ho! These racist cops have got to go! Hey, hey!
waxaa socda mudaharaadkii
These racist cops have
lagu
got
marayay
to go!
waddada Takwila meeshaan meeshii laga kiciyey Soomaalida meeshaan u jeedaan waa degsintada Soomaalida laga kiciyey waa u jeedaan waxaa laga dhisay xarun
These racist cops
Somalia
have got to
police.
go! Hey, hey! These racist cops have got to go! Hey, hey! These
booliiska
racist
laga
cops
hadlayo ayaga waddada noo ilaalinaya aragtaan
Hey, hey! Ho, ho!
Takwila waa xaruntii Soomaalida waa magaalada ay Soomaalida ku badan yihiin gobolka Washington
Don't give in to
oo hadda
racist
mudaharaad oo ka socdo sida u jeedaan meesha xadiiska nabiga calayhi salaatu wasalaam waa ku yaala all mankind is from Adam and Eve. A white has no superiority over a black, nor a black has any superiority over a white, except by piety and good action. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Black Lives Matter, Islamic teaching, mashallah.
So we're walking to 116. We're almost there.
Can we pause? Can we pause for 30 seconds? Up here, can we pause?
Pause for 30 seconds.
I promise you I did how to
Racism does not have any place here. This is why we're here today, guys.
Stay focused. Stay focused.
Make some noise! Whose lives matter? Black lives matter! 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 Whose lives matter?
Black lives matter.
Whose lives matter?
Black lives matter.
Whose lives matter, guys?
Black lives matter.
Why are we here today? Because whose lives matter?
Black lives matter.
Whose lives matter?
Black lives matter.
Do we want to be here today?
Share this.
Yes, this was true, because it is. Whose lives matter here? Black lives matter. Why are we here today? Because Black lives matter. Yes, because we want justice. Yes, we do want justice here. No justice.
No peace.
No justice.
No peace.
No justice.
No peace.
No racism.
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 No peace.
No justice.
No peace.
صبح 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 brother. صبح. Let's go.
No peace. No racism.
No peace.
No justice.
No peace.
شكري.
No racism.
No peace.
No justice.
No peace.
No racism.
No peace.
I'm gonna raise the crowd here. I'm sorry. Woo! Make some noise! Woo! Yes! Oh my goodness.
I don't know what that attention seeker was looking for, but
ما شاء الله جدا.
There we go. Sorry, guys.
Sorry.
Thank you.
yeah.
Make some noise here, guys. Whose lives matter?
Black lives matter.
Whose lives matter?
Black lives matter.
Whose lives matter?
Black lives matter.
Whose lives
Black lives matter.
Black lives matter.
Woo! Make some noise! Yes, we're losing our voice here. We're all starting to change here. We are making change here. We're laying the ground. We are laying the groundwork here for others to live in peace. Because guess what? We are not living in peace here. No, we're not. No justice.
No peace.
No justice.
meeshaas u jeedaan waa meeshii Soomaalida ay businesska ku lahayd oo la burburiyey 20 sano la soo dhaafay. waa bakaaro mool meeshii ahaan jirtay sidaasa loo galay marka haddaan loo dagaalamin xuquuqda sidaasaa maaragtay wax kasta wax kasta lagaaga burburinayaa waxaan xuquuqaad ku leenahay xuquuqda waa ku dagaalamaynaa madow baa nahay ya marka dad baa waxay moodaan inaysan madow ahayn annaga muslimiin madow aan nahay takoorkan wuu nagu socdaa maraykan intaan ku nool nahay qaar baa waxay ku leeyihin maraykan maxaad kaa galay maraykan waa degannahay maxaan ii geli waay qayb baan ku leenahay waddanka waan ka mid nahay qof kasta halkan waddankan hindi baa laga dhacay waa la yimid qayb baana ka nahay soo ka qayb qaadanaynaa ka maqo ama ka muuqno حالي كم موقع أما كم مقنو سومالي ما شاء الله جدا في لوبر بريه ما شاء الله مقالة تكوين لا وكاسي بحينا حنقلنا هذا السيتاك
So why
Black Lives Matter!
This was,
It's not
yeah.
right. It's not right at all.
This was immigrant
CTAG
business.
wanted to take their profits.
Yeah, but there's a bunch of businesses over there.
Right.
Black Lives Matter.
Whose lives matter?
Black Lives Matter!
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 Don't you anti-racist here?
meeshan waa meesha laga hadlayo waa la burburiyo waa ujeedaan waa meeshii bakhaara ma lahaan jirtay
Racist fears? Don't give in to racist fears.
Immigrants are welcome here!
Don't give in to racist fears.
Immigrants are welcome here!
Don't give in to racist fears.
immigrants are welcome here
Don't give in to racist fears.
immigrants are welcome here
Don't give in to racist fears.
immigrants are welcome here
Don't give in to racist fears.
immigrants are welcome here
Don't give in to racist fears.
immigrants are welcome here
Don't give in to racist fears.
immigrants are welcome here
Don't give in to racist fears.
immigrants are welcome here
Let's switch it up. Don't give in to racist fears.
refugees are welcome here
Don't give in to racist fears.
refugees are welcome here
Don't give in to racist fears.
refugees are welcome here
Don't give in to racist fears.
refugees are welcome here
Don't give in to racist fears.
refugees are welcome here
Don't give in to racist fears.
refugees are welcome here
Don't give in to racist fears.
Refugees are welcome here!
Don't give in to racist fears.
Refugees are welcome here!
Don't give in to racist fears.
Refugees are welcome here!
All right, let's switch it up, guys. Woo! Yes. Money for schools. Money for schools.
Police!
Money for schools.
not for police
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 Money for housing. Money for housing.
not for police
Money for housing.
not for police
When I say money for housing, I don't mean these multi-million-dollar houses. I mean affordable housing for us. Yes. So when I say money for housing, not for police. There we go, guys. Yes. Yes. Money for schools.
not for police
Money for housing.
not for police
Money for schools.
Not for police!
Money for housing.
Not for police!
Money for schools.
Not for police!
Money for housing.
Not police!
Money for schools.
Not police!
Money for housing.
Not police!
America waxyaabaha loogu yimid oo runtii hordhacan socodkan dhan waxaa hogaaminaya xadiiska nebiga calayhi salaatu wasalaam waa ujeedaan bini aadanka dhan inuu aadam ka yimid iyo xaawa qofka caddaanka inuu qofka kale ka fiicneen madowga ah qofka madowgana inuu qofka caddaanka ka fiicneen waa qowlkii nebigeena calayhi salaatu wasalaam ayaa horkacaya socodkan dad badanaa isku dhex jira laakiin dadku waa dad wada degan waddanka kulli xuquuqa la raadinayaa caddaan madow ujeedaan waa elboorkii halkaas meesha calanka waddada dhan way xiran tahay in hawshaan lasoo qaban qaadiyo ma ahayn wax yar howl yar ma ahayn waxaa mahad iskale allah kadib waxaan mahad celinaynaa walaalaheen ubax caraweelo iyo kufri caraweelo oo runtii iyo nimco bulaale oo howl weyn ku geystay arrintan maasha allah
Whose
waay maanta socodka.
His name! Say 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 her 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 name! Woo! Yes! Okay. What do we do? When black lives are under attack, what do we do? When black lives are under attack, what do we do? Woo! Yes, when black lives are under attack, what do we do? Yes.
You're not listening. If you're not angry, you're not listening. هذا حنقصنين واحد ما دقيقتين.
The next red light over here, not this one, but the next one. That's where we're really stopping to hear these voices. So when I say these next few chants, I really need to hear the energy because this is it. So when I say, whose lives matter? Whose lives matter?
Black lives matter.
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 Yes, make some noise. Yes, guys. Woo. Silence is compliance. Silence is compliance.
Silence is compliance.
Silence is compliance.
Silence is compliance.
Silence is compliance.
Silence is compliance.
Silence is compliance. Silence is compliance.
waxaan gelaynaa CTAG Iswiilan ka soo baxnay 160-ga socodkan wuxuu ahaa socod lagu taageerayo dadka madow annaga aan ka mid nahay marka waa ku mahadsantihiin inta dhammaan daawatay inta soo gareysay socodka maanta raaliga halkaan ku egyahay kana waa fariin loo diraayo dadka dowladda Mareykanka iyo isbedelada iyo kacdoonada ka socda Mareykanka oo runtii isbedelo badan muujiyay midabkoorku waa cudur aan in lala dagaalamo meel kasta uu ka jiro in dadka la liido in laga dagaalamo meel kasta uu ka jiro waddankeena ayaa u baahan walaal in laga bilaabo si looga hortago midabkoorka Soomaalidana ku salaysan cudurka ciyaalada inuu baxo haddii dadka qaarkood diinta lahayn ilaahay aaminsanin oo garteen inuu midabkoorka cudur yahay anagoo muslimiin aan u garanay anaa in qabyaalada cudurka
No justice! No peace! 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 No racist! No peace! No justice! No peace! No racist! No peace! No justice! No peace! No racist! No peace!
dadka u jeedin meesha taagan yahay waa this is peaceful protest waa protest aad nabad u ah wax dhibaato ah kama dhicin wuu dhammaan rabaa insha allah
Make some noise! Oh, really? It isn't?
soo gaarnay dhamaadkii raaliga.
Give me 1 second while I get my collective here. 1 second.
160th.
Thank you guys. You guys are so amazing. But you guys should know this is you guys. Really, make some noise. Don't give in to racist fears.
Okay,
don't give in to racist fears. 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 Alright guys, yes, one more time. We're going to say refugees, but don't give in to racist fears. Don't give in to racist fears. Refugees are welcome here. Don't give in to racist fears. Refugees are welcome here. Don't give in to racist fears. Refugees are welcome here. Don't give in to racist fears. Refugees are welcome here. Woo! Make some noise. Whose lives matter? Whose lives matter?
جزاكم الله خير. Black lives matter, immigrant lives matter, all lives matter. حتى هالله تقالموا. السلام عليكم.